Welcome to the weekend edition of the Fast Five by Fear and Greed. I'm Michael Thompson, and hello, Sean Aylmer.
Hello, Michael.
Sean, on weekdays, it's all about the Fast Five, the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. On the weekend, of course, we still keep it to 5 minutes. It wouldn't be the Fast Five if we didn't, but we're going to pick out the biggest story of the week, our favourite story, the sleeper story, which is the one that's flying under the radar, not getting the attention that it probably should, and the most remarkable story of the week. So let's get into it. What do you think was the biggest story this week?
For mine, it was the fact that the US Federal Reserve lifted interest rates for the first time in 3 years. The chair of the Fed, Jerome Powell, was very overt in how many rate rises would occur this year. That'll be at least 7. And by the end of the year, the official cash rate over there will be between 1.75 and 2%. Why is this remarkable? Because it totally calmed financial markets. We have had enormous volatility over the last few weeks, over the last few months, in fact. But now that the world knows what the Fed is going to do, markets calmed. Commodity prices came off a bit. Shares rose, somewhat surprisingly. Even some currencies appreciated against the US dollar, the AUD, the Aussie dollar being one of those. Quite an incredible story this week.
Yeah, that is a big story. Look, the biggest story for me, though, was actually slightly closer to home in that the unemployment figures are really quite hard to beat because there are a few things really as important as having a job. The numbers were spectacular when they came out on Thursday. 4% unemployment in February. That's the lowest since 2008 in 14 years. Jobs rose by 77,000, a record participation rate. And the thing is that this is not expected to stop there. Stand by for a sub 4% unemployment rate in the next month or two. It's a big, big story, this one. Great time to be looking for a job because there's plenty on offer.
Definitely, I agree with that one, Michael. Very big story, that.
What's the most remarkable story, do you reckon, this week, Sean?
Oh, look, for me, it's how the war is being waged in a technology world. Now, Ukraine-Russia is the first major conflict between European powers since the rise of technology as we know it. This week, Apple and Google were asked to keep operating in Russia to allow ordinary Russians to access news outside official channels. We know news channels within Russia have now pretty much been censored. We've seen lots of downloading of apps in Russia of Telegram, WhatsApp, Threema, always fun sharing unapproved news. Volodymyr Zelensky's been ferocious in his use of social media. There's been enormous numbers of cyber attacks. Just the way that the war is being waged now is well beyond military. It also involves technology and, of course, businesses. I think that's remarkable.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you on that one. That is a pretty remarkable story, and just because it is really a global story now. So I might move on to the sleeper story of the week. If I can nominate...
You go first on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to nominate a story that did get a little bit of attention, but it's going to become a much bigger issue. It's the question over whether casual workers should get paid sick leave. So the Victorian Premier this week announced a trial of paid sick leave for more than 150,000 workers across a range of sectors, everything from hospitality right through to cleaning and aged and disability care. Apply for the guarantee. You can get 5 days sick pay a year at the minimum wage. Why is it a sleeper? Because it really kind of blurs that line between casual and permanent employment. Just a few weeks as well after the High Court in Canberra ruled that if your contract says you're a casual and you're not entitled to the benefits of being a permanent employee. So business doesn't really like it. Even some union leaders are a little bit skeptical about some aspects of it. It's pretty controversial, but it has the potential to really change the nature of the relationship between employers and employees. So it is a big sleeper story this week.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think that is one story in other circumstances that would have and probably should have got a lot more attention.
All right, our favourite story of the week. You go first for this one, Sean.
Not me to go for it. Okay, my favourite story of the week is the fact that I'll be able to buy something online, clothes or something, and soon I'll be able to receive it within the hour. Now, retailers are looking for a competitive advantage. They're using Uber more and more. In fact, Uber's delivery business in Australia is now bigger than its ride-sharing business. Uber's done a deal with a crowd called Ship It, which helps it deliver parcels from Sephora, Kathmandu, Big W, Target, Harvey Norman's in there, deliver those goods within an hour. When you go online, you purchase something, you'll get the quote for delivery, the estimated time of arrival, and it'll arrive on your doorstep. That's pretty exciting. That's my favourite story of the week. What about you, Michael?
Oh, now I know why that's your favourite story, because you have spoken before about how much you love shopping at Kathmandu. And if that's one of those retailers that's taking part in this, you just want to get your hiking sticks faster, don't you?
That's right. What's your favourite story?
My favourite story this week is the daylight saving story out of the US. I'll keep this really short. The US Senate has passed a bill to make daylight saving permanent from next year. So the clock will stay forward an hour all year round. Not quite a done deal because it still has to pass the House of Reps, then be signed into law by the president. 3 very quick things why this story is the best of the week. The range of arguments for and against, the economic ones like golf courses will do more business, to the medical arguments that says there's a slight rise in heart attacks and strokes whenever the time changes. I like the fact that some states had already legislated the change, but this is to basically try and give some consistency, some uniformity right across the country. But my favourite thing overall, Sean, is the name of the bill. It is called the Sunlight Protection Act. Doesn't it just make it sound so grand, as though they're really doing a favour to the universe by protecting the sun instead of just flicking the clocks forward for an hour?
Yeah, it's a great story, that one.
All right, there we go. 5 minutes and pretty much everything you need to know in the world of business from this week. Thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
We'll be back on Monday morning with the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and this is the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed.